We're only 3 minutes behind. Give me a break.
Paul, good catch on that.
Hey, Bob. Good to go.
Good job. All right, perfect. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 13th meeting of the Litchfield Board of Selectmen. We have just come out of a paperwork session. We would like to start this meeting off with everyone rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So up first, we have review and approval of consent items. We have an AP manifest for October 31st, 2023, in the amount of $740,455.17, and one for November 7th, 2023, in the amount of $1,510,660.90, and one for November 14th, 2023, in the amount of $259,028.02. There's a payroll manifest for November 2nd, 2023, in the amount of $53,061.37. And for November 9th, 2023, in the amount of $55,533.11. And for November 16th, 2023, in the amount of $52,045.87. We have contract with the Town of Hudson Ambulance Services, contract with the Town of Hudson Dispatch Services, September Treasurer Reconciliation, abatement 15 Darlene Lane, map 1, lot 74, abatement 10 Whittemore Lane, map 13, lot 5, and an abatement for 23 Old Stage Road, map 12, lot 89. 2013 transfer from Public Works Expendable Trust in the amount of $24,328 for tractor attachments. October 2023 tax collector reconciliation, October 2023 town clerk reconciliation, and notice of intent to cut wood on map 2, lot 8, Derry Road. Is there anything anybody would like to move or have a discussion on? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion for acceptance.
So moved.
A motion for Mr. Weber.
Second.
Second for Ms. Queenan. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. All right, requests for additional items, other business. Have anything? No? Good, okay. Public input will occur no earlier than 6:45 PM. And now we have our public hearing for metal detection. Ms. Kleiner.
So at the last meeting, we asked if we could go ahead and put this out again, since some changes had been made, which we felt were pretty substantial. To backtrack just a little, Recreation looked this over, Conservation, the Heritage, the Historical Society. So everyone has weighed in on this policy now as it stands before you. The public hearing was republished in the Union Leader, as well as on our website. There were no comments brought forward, so we know of no reason why the board can't approve it this evening.
All right. Does anybody have anything to weigh in on this? See, no. Kim?
No, I'm fine.
Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion for acceptance of it.
You want to open it up to the public comment?
Oh, we can open up to public comment. Does anybody have a comment? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion for the acceptance of the metal detection ordinance.
I'll make a motion, but I don't have it open. Can you give me a second? Unless I just read from the agenda. I'll make a motion to accept the metal detecting ordinance.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Ms. Queenan and a second from Mr. Gannon. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500.
I'll move the closed public hearing.
We have a motion for Mr. Weber.
Second.
Second for Mr. Gannon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now, approval of the minutes for October 23rd, 2023. Has everybody had a chance to check them out? Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. Motion for acceptance.
Make a motion to accept it.
Motion for Mr. Lynch.
Second.
Second for Mr. Weber. Don't everyone jump at once. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500.
We already did this one.
Just did metal detecting. Spirit of Litchfield Parade Permit. So,
So, we received, actually, the application is strictly for the parade
Okay.
itself.
Mhm.
So that is what the, permit is for. Ms. Paris sent it over. Fire, Mr. Kelly, Mr. French, and I met with Janice. We went through the new parade requirements that
Okay.
have been given to us by Primex, especially when it is strictly a town-insured event. So there's no secondary insurance that's being requested. We worked out the route that the parade will take, and we have to thank Captain Kelly for working with the school district. The route will go from Hidden Creek, and we have obtained permission from that property owner. It will continue down Albuquerque. We have permission for it to turn around at Campbell High School and then come back. So we feel everything is in order. Of course, we'll continue to work with Ms. Paris with whatever she needs. We've also spoken a little bit about the event and some requests that she has from town departments, and we're working through those as well. But we're very happy and look forward to a great parade.
cool. Very good. Does anybody have anything they'd like to?
I assume all this will be posted on the town page, right? Like the RSA, particularly the RSA, because I'm sure people are going to be concerned with that.
Yes, and so Ms. Paris asked if she could put this out. She is actually requesting the vehicle information, the owner information, the registration. So she's having all the participants in the parade
Okay.
file information with her, and she'll pass that to us, and she's going to pass this to them.
Awesome.
So that there's very clear communication from everyone that you need to be registered to be in the parade. Here are the requirements. And we've worked through anything that she needs as far as anything put on the website, any different communication tools. We have a great line of communication. I'm really happy.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, anything else? We have a motion to approve the Christmas parade.
So moved.
Motion from
second
Mr.
it.
Weber and a second from Mr. Lynch. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. All right. Up next, Recreation Commission Spirit of Litchfield fireworks discussion. I know we have some people for this one. You can come too.
Beautiful winter day, you want to make all this noise.
That's what I do.
I'm Judy Brennan. I'm here as a representative of the Recreation Commission and a liaison to Spirit of Litchfield, who are organizing Christmas at Dara, this year to take place Saturday, December 9th from 3 to 7 p.m. It has all been approved by the Recreation Commission for them to use the field and facility. We're here tonight to find out what we would need to do to have fireworks approved at the end of the Christmas at Dara.
I see your page
This
here.
is Tom, and he will be able to answer your.
Oh, that's Andy.
Sorry, Andy.
You can call him
Andy.
Tom.
I
Well, you got a
confused
mustache.
you. No, I confused you with someone else I was meeting with at the high school. I'm sorry, Andy. He'll be able to answer all the technical questions regarding fireworks and your safety.
So the Primex in risk management bulletin, did you get that to them?
So I
Do they
did,
have that?
no, so I received this afternoon.
Okay.
When I saw the email come in, I reached right out to Primex, of course, with Friday's holiday. They didn't have a chance to get back to me. They got back to me today. So there is a list of things where it is the town's and, insurance and the town's property that Primex will ask for. The most would, probably the largest leap, and I'm not sure, is the insurance coverage that would be required.
What do you carry now? I know you do this a lot.
I can carry, basically, so I work for a company called Pyrotechnico. This is not Andy shooting them. I work for a company called Pyrotechnico. I shoot anywhere from Boston to the Mount Washington Hotel. There's not much insurance that's going to scare the company I work for. I've shot off the Green Monster, and if you can imagine that rider. So I basically would just need to know what the town is requiring for insurance. I get that to them. It's funny, actually, I spoke with Paul Kelly earlier today about a separate event that is looking at fireworks in town, and basically it's whatever the town requires. I send that, hey, when I send them everything, I said, hey, they're looking for this. There's a contract that comes out, and then whoever, I'm assuming would be one of you guys signing it, and then you tell me exactly what you need on the rider, basically everything you need. We do this towns, I do probably 30 to 40 shows, private or public, a year. There's not much insurance that is going to surprise them. So that's not insurance. It's not Andy doing the show. It's Pyrotechnico. I just live in town and I'm doing it at no cost. I'm not making any profit off the show. The profit that would normally go to the show or go to me from the show, I am not taking any of it. If anything is going to cost me money to drive and get everything and set everything up, I'm putting it right back into the show.
This says it's a minimum of $1 million per occurrence with $2 million policy aggregate. Higher limits would be preferable if they're available.
Nothing, like I said, nothing
Yeah.
is going to really scare them compared to what they normally do. I mean, they shoot fireworks inside the TD Garden, so I'm assuming that we're going to be more than I can get whatever coverage is needed.
Okay, can we send them this?
Yes.
So that they can?
Yeah, if you can send me that, I can double check that
And
very quickly.
I think Mr. Kelly has reached out to go through some of this with you
Yes, I've talked to him.
because you need certain setbacks and things according to the National Fire.
Yeah, we have a couple different spots we can
protection.
do. We can do it at a couple different spots. So what it is, it's what's called the permissible fireworks display. It's the same stuff that you guys could go, anybody in New Hampshire or anywhere can go and purchase at a store. It's just being set off professionally. So that's where the setbacks come into place. There's a couple different places on the field that we could do, or we could do it at it used to be the skate park, whatever it is now. So it can be either that or we have a spot on the field. There's really when it's a Class C permissible display, it's a lot more flexible than if there was actually being shells put in. It's not shells put in. It's basically, there'll be 40 or so cardboard boxes, if you will, that are plugged in and shot off. It's the same stuff that people
Buy at the
store. Exactly. The only difference is how it's lit off. That's what makes it have to have a license and that it's a.
So you see at the
display.
Fisher Cats.
Basically, it's exactly the same size as a Fisher Cat show. Probably a tiny bit bigger because I'm not taking a commission off of it. So that's, if you've seen a Fisher Cat show, it's that. Same products and everything.
And so, most of this will be working with,
Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Kelly. And,
Name came up, and who showed up?
and he'll be working with the state fire marshal's office, which is.
Yeah,
what's
everything,
required.
basically how the permit process goes is, the local, so Litchfield would have to sign off on it, and then it gets sent back to Pyrotechnico's office, and then they submit it to the state, and the state signs off on it.
Yep.
But the ultimate ruling is the town has more say than the state does on as far as the go, no-go, if you will.
And so I think we need to understand, one of the concerns is what fire personnel will be needed.
Technically, for a permissible show, in the state of New Hampshire does not require any fire department on site. It is town jurisdiction.
Correct.
So like, for example, a Fisher Cat show, the city of Manchester requires a fire personnel there. I did a wedding show in the town of Chichester. You don't see anybody. Do Amherst at LaBelle Winery,
Nope.
don't see a single person. So that's per town policies is how that is. Most public displays, there's normally a fire truck or something there anyway, but there's no actual state requirements that for a permissible show that a fire department has to be there.
To my
That's true.
knowledge, we don't have any town policy
Correct.
on fireworks that I could find, so I would definitely refer to the chief
Yep.
as to his comfort level.
Oh, and it doesn't hurt my feelings whether they're there or not. I come with all my own fire extinguishers and the whole 9 yards, so it's not.
If you got a company like that doing it, it's pretty cut and dry. There's no policy that I know of in this town. We just let them know what's going on. In most cases, be safe. If you got an outfit like this, you don't really have any problems, okay? We've had fireworks displays down at the farm on New Year's Eve. But the town doesn't get involved too much because it's in the middle of the field down there, you know? But those parties are all gone.
I've been doing this.
We did it ourselves, so.
I got to be well over 10 years. I've been doing this with I have a state license. I am not
Yep.
just I am licensed by the state of New Hampshire. And before I had my license, I had like 4 or 5 years of
Practice.
mentorship, I guess if you could call it. So I've been doing this a while, and I do anything from I do a show in Boston Harbor to weddings and
So I believe as long as we, I mean, after I spoke with Primex today, as long as we followed these,
Typically
we're
too,
fine,
for,
Logistically, right, with all the setbacks that we.
right.
yeah, we're tight. We're tight if we did on the field. We can make it work, which is I think the preferable spot to do it. 100% good if we did it on the basketball courts. But then you guys got into trees and everything like that for a better visual display. It's just a tight spot on the field, but it can absolutely be done.
and typically at the Christmas events, I think fire is always there anyways.
Well, we're there in the capacity of a touch a truck out in the parking lot.
Correct, and usually,
You're talking about a flame effect show that's gonna be around a crowd of people,
Yep.
possibly towards the wood line. I was late because I just came from a little brush fire for a guy that dumped his ashes in the woods and started on. So it can happen. That's why we're in the line of safety and why you see fire trucks at display.
Precaution.
I've done it for years. I did the detail over when I was with Merrimack. We had an engine and a forestry there, and there have been brush fires started.
Yeah, I
And,
think
you know, those
also-
are bigger shells, but these are boxes or whatever you wanna say set up. One could flip over, tip over, whatever. When
100%.
it's that area of safety that we need to be cautious of and err on the side of.
and I also think in the past, there was an open fire that you guys actually had brought in marshmallows and s'mores for the kids to make, and you
Well,
guys
yeah,
did
we do a
that.
fire pit up.
Yeah,
in the
fire
pit,
pits. You guys were there
right.
for that
We'll do
also.
the same thing, we'll do the pit this year, so.
Okay.
But now I'm looking at it as a capacity of, and I can't speak for the chief because he's just coming back into town from his seminar. So, you know, we'll have to hire probably a detail to stand by if that's your request of the fire. So there is a cost to having that show.
And the rec's good with that.
We meet tomorrow night to
Tomorrow
discuss it, so I don't want to jump ahead, but we do have more funds left over than usual in the activity fund because porta potties didn't get delivered to the fishing derby, and we usually contribute to like Fall Fest and Spring Fest, which we didn't have this year.
We also have
So-
some ideas for contributions.
Yeah, so there's talk about
Fundraising.
getting in some quick fundraising or sponsorship money to make that happen, but as I said, we don't meet till tomorrow night, so I can't jump ahead to
I'll
that.
make sure you have this before I leave, so that,
So
Okay,
and Steve has
Rec's
it.
here this evening to try to get permission before going to the rec, so it's kind of backwards what we normally would do, but doing the timing of the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be contingent on the rec.
Rec
approving.
saying yes tomorrow evening, if we're all in agreement that it's a good thing.
And if the fire's on board, then I'm good with it. I have no problem. I think it's gonna be great.
I think it's a
I
great
think it is
addition.
too. It's the highest attended event pretty much in town every year. And I think that the fireworks will draw more people, and it's very rare for us to have fireworks in town. And it's still being at an early time, 7 o'clock, towards the end of the event, so,
There's snow day for this?
no.
No.
If it's cold, if it's snowing, we're there, it's
Been
winter.
cold and snowy in the past.
You better be there.
So we'll do a motion to accept this contingent upon working out the bugs. So. Mr.
I'll make a
Weber, you-
motion that we approve the firework display at Christmas at Dara, dependent on Rec's approval, and that we meet all the setbacks,
And fire,
and fire is present.
perfect.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber and a second from Mr. Gannon. Any further discussion? No?
No.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 500. Great,
Thank you.
great job. Thanks for everything you
Thanks,
guys
Judy.
do.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy.
Nice seeing you,
Andy,
Andy.
thanks for doing it at your cost. Great for the community.
Tim, you'll send me
It's a great
anything
event.
more that I need to?
Sending it right now.
All right, great.
Thanks, Paul.
Remember those days?
Yeah,
We're
thanks,
voting
Paul.
how much snow
If
was
you have
out
the
there?
insurance stuff, can you just send that to her and she can get it to me? And
Yep,
I'll
it's
just
all
confirm.
in one document.
Yep.
It's all in one
great.
document.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Tried to do it last year but it didn't have enough time to set it up.
All right, so let's see. Up next,
Spirit of New
Civic
Hampshire.
Plus
we got.
website proposal.
Steve, what are you clicking on over there?
So,
Sign in.
Okay,
I know that
up here?
Thanks, Judy. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Judy.
Oh, only here, okay.
We've spoken, somewhat about this, before, and it's something that we've been looking at for a while. And
same
so
way with us.
in your documentation, I put forth 3 different options that were investigated. So Civic Plus is obviously the leader, in government websites. So most of
I've no
them
love for
that
these
you
things.
look at, not only in the state of New Hampshire, but across the country, if you look at the very bottom of the front page, it's gonna say Civic Plus. And why is the website important? So online communication, online services is the way that people communicate today, right? People don't want to have to pick up the phone or come down to town hall. And your website is really just that. It's to inform people, to engage people, and to serve the residents of your community. What we've seen here is, and I get calls all the time. So, I'll give you an example that occurred just last week. A resident called and said, how come the exemptions aren't on the website? Good point. If you look, most towns, that's a common thing that you would see. It's not only that, it's your permit process, your everything should be able to be done through the website. So it really should, your website should reflect your community. It should reflect its culture. It should reflect its history. And people would rather go online and look for information. I think we talked about that when we talked about Facebook and things like that. Well, one of the reasons that people aren't going to the website as much is it's very difficult to find the information that they need. I get information, I point people to the right place on our website. I think we've done wonders. John's done a great job. It's changed a lot over the last 6 to 9 months. But there's only the platform. There's only so much you can do with that. The other thing is, I think that we've created a lot of different types of tools to kind of accomplish what we need, like on forms where people send in a form for a residence request, right? And one of the asks that has been from department heads is that resident request comes in through an email. There's no way for them to really track it except that it's in a spreadsheet. Then if they want to respond to the resident that it's been completed, they have to go back and write an email to that resident. It's not a true work order system. And one of the things that Civic Plus has is a C-click fix. So it's all in one, and it all circles around. The other thing I think we've talked about here is the opportunity for your business owners, and when I say a business owner, town clerk, finance, police, fire, to really be able to manage their portion of the site, right? They should be able to load content easily and quickly. And that's really important that they own that section of the website. But we also have to give them the tools to do that. And so one of the things that you see with Civic Plus versus the other two examples that I gave you is Civic Plus is all templated. So when you go on to upload content, you're choosing a heading, and the heading is all fonted out. It creates consistency across your website, right? It's all carefully laid out for them. It's very hard to make mistakes. Mistakes can be easily undone. And it allows them to understand what their customers need and respond to those customers quickly. Because we know everything in society these days is, I need this information and I need it now. That's just how society is. I think that, when we looked back at a way to really improve the communication between our residents and the town, not that Facebook's not a great tool to do that, but one of the reasons we're relying so much on Facebook is we don't have the proper website to do that. It's antiquated. It's not ADA compliant. And I think we've spoken about that before, and the reason why that's important. With Civic Plus, your residents can sign up for notifications. They can create an account, and they can personalize the notifications that they get. Say they only want to get notified when it's a budget meeting. They can do that. So it's giving a unique experience to all of your residents. I realize that it's a big price tag. I'm not saying that it isn't, but small towns much smaller than us, have made this a priority because it's that important. And I really think that before you embark on an economic development or you embark on asking for more grants, first thing a grant agency does, just go to the town website. They're gonna research you, because they're researching whether their money is going to a good opportunity. It is the face of the town, and we need to ensure that we're letting people know just how important Litchfield is. So I've put a lot of information out there for you to read, usability, flexibility, design, delivery. Those are all important. We need to have a seamless experience, not only for the residents, but also seamless for our town departments to be able to communicate effectively. Civic Plus is the leader in this area for a reason. So one of the websites that they've done a lot of work on just recently is Salem, New Hampshire. If you've had an opportunity to look at that, Salem's doing some really great things with the opening of Tuscan Village. And they are really putting forth a plan to actively communicate with their residents. So you can create newsletters and have targeted newsletters that go out depending on what interests your residents have. Maybe they want to know historical content. Maybe they want to know what the veterans are doing. Maybe you really want to bring in the whole community on your website, not just the town functions. So we would work with all of the boards and the commissions, because that's very important that they have input on their pages that represent them and reflect their. We'd work with the police department, with the fire department. We'd want an emergency services. This would really bring everyone in. And one of the things I think that's really important is that we have a team, all of your department heads that work with Civic Plus to help design your site. They all know the Litchfield community much better than I do. So it would be all of the department heads forming a project team. On the Civic Plus side, there's a project manager that works through, and on the Civic Plus, and there's design graphics team. So they literally push different in a methodical timeline. They push different information to us. We make various different choices. And then when it becomes more, their individual pages will work more with the individual process owners on different things. A lot of it's going to be content that's brought over. I know the Civic Plus team has looked at content on our existing site, and they've said that they think there's a lot of duplication. So really working through that and what content comes over, John can work with them much better than probably most of us on that area of it. You really need a robust content management system, and that's the key to the Civic Plus design, is having a system where process owners can update regularly, the content is managed. It's really easy. I mean, anyone can do it. I can say, we had a wide variety of people throughout the city when I was in the city that each managed their own pages. There are a couple things I'd like to see, so I provided you a smart plan on how I see it going through. There's a few things that I would like to see happen, if the board so agreed. I'd like to see a community survey go out. I'd like to get some feedback from the community right out of the gate what do they find important? What would they like to see on the site? Overall, what did they like about our current site? What did they not? I think these are important things for your project team to know going forward. I'd like to see us engage the residents asking for pictures. We did this in the city of Nashua, and all we did was we asked residents to submit pictures, and if their picture was chosen for the website, they got a tagline, right? They got photo credit, and we got amazing pictures back. And I'd like to see us engage them in writing the historical content of Litchfield, because I think the history of Litchfield is so rich and so vibrant. That's absolutely an area that we need to shine on. I know we're working with Mr. Calawa on a new history section for the town report. I think working with the Heritage Commission, working with the Historical Society, we could really develop a really nice historical section of the website. And then working with recreation, right? How do we help and assist them? I've talked a lot with Ms. Brennan on how we can kind of help and assist them with the permit process, right? So Civic Plus has the opportunity where you can do that, where you can have permits submitted right online, everything's filled out. You can even work through deposits and things of that sort, if those are required. Being able to get all the information that we need in one place, accessible to all the people that need it. And John sat with me through both the John Guilfoyle talk when we met with them, and we did speak with them quite a bit. I think the downfall to that is it's the same system you currently have, WordPress, which I don't think offers as much flexibility for learning it and learning it well as far as to update it. And then John has sat through at least a few sessions with me on the Civic Plus so that he would get to know that as well. So I welcome any feedback that John has.
I think all the points that Kim has brought forward, I think are very valid. I think we do need to start thinking about the redesign of our digital footprint and how we present ourselves to the community, right? The platform we've been on, we've talked about, I know, Steve, you've worked on that platform. It's very difficult to get through. I think, I've been doing the website since 2007 or so, 2009. The Board of Selectmen gave total control of the website to me, and it's actually still in effect today. That policy's haven't been revoked. But at the end of the day, I agree, right? I think it's a large investment, and as Kim laid out, I wasn't involved I didn't talk to John directly. I just saw the proposal. I spent a lot of time on Civic Plus. I've worked with Civic Plus in the past with other agencies that I've worked around. So I do know the platform. I got to know it a little bit better as we got introduced to it again. I think it is the platform that can take the town forward as far as all of our needs. I question the budgeting part of it, which is something you folks will have to deal with in the end. Something like the click fix part of the Civic Plus, we have that in the MyGov platform. We chose not to implement that because of cost. We could have had that already totally integrated in doing that, right? Had that full tracking. But I think, Kim, you and I worked on it. We did those forms because we didn't want to pay for that to use. There was a cost associated with it. But this is an all-inclusive platform. And what I like about it is the whole subscription model, right? Community members can come up, list what they want to get, what they're interested into, get part of our mass notification systems, get the bulletins, all those different things, and it's dynamic. So as we have events, we can change the front page and highlight things. They'll come up. It'll do a notification too, but also publish it. So it does add a lot of different flexibility. I know Kim haven't talked about the cost yet, but the cost is a continuing costs. And what concerns me, when I've asked for more money with the budget with regards to the website, they cut, right? So I was running around with a very low budget, keeping a site that went from the GeoCity type model, right, to what we have today. And yes, when Kim came on board, she challenged me a lot to make changes, and we made a lot of changes. They weren't easy changes because the platform was just not that capable. So again, if the board is in support of this, and finds the money to do it and to be able to deal with the ongoing costs, I'm all for it. I do feel, like I said, I think it's important. Our whole digital presence is important. That's why we're using every tool we had in our arsenal to get information out. The communications policy has sort of closed the doors around certain menus, and I think we have to improve what we have in place to do it, right? So I think it's definitely a good move in the right spot. As far as, you know, how we get there, how we go through the process, I think that's something we need to discuss later on, but at the end of the day, I think it's a very, it would be a project that would benefit the town going forward.
So the probably elephant in the room is the price,
Right.
right? So, and I've let Civic Plus know from the get-go that we can't even talk about this unless you can really work with the town on the upfront costs of development. And so that list price to develop the website and have the year one fees included was $57,000, right?
Yep.
And Civic Plus has worked with us to significantly come down on that price, right? I mean, pretty much cutting it in half. And they've thrown in a lot of services that wouldn't normally be thrown in. And they realize that this is really important for the town. So, you know, the first year, the initial investment would be $29,000 and change. I think that they're trying to make it easy for the town to kind of pay that cost, and they've said, you know, you can pay 30% down and 70% in 6 months. That, I don't think that really helps us. I think what we have right now and what Karen and I are gonna talk about is funds that we may have left over for 2023. And maybe we look at using some of those funds to make the initial investment. But this discount has a time limit.
What I think difficult is the recurring services at $22,000, and it looks like it's 5% per
Every
year
year.
after that.
Yep.
What do we have now from a website standpoint in the budget?
2,000.
Yeah, so I mean,
And this is one of the conversations Kim and I were having, is that, you know, critical systems like the network of this building, $14,000 every year, the budget committee had a severe reaction to it, and I don't know what they're gonna do for this. I think we need to sell it to them. As Kim said, there's a time limit on it, and we have to kind of react to it.
it's definitely needed,
Yeah, I totally
but
agree.
it's how do we fund it?
But there's other things in this town that are also needed too, right? I mean, that's the other concern, is that there are other larger ticket items. The other one that's close, you know, dear to my heart is the RMS system next door. It's a $60,000 investment to get started, and I get 2 years to get implemented. It's gonna cost $60,000 to start that. I don't know where that money's coming. The time clock has been ticking now for a year and a half. And we have to do something like that too, and that's something else what useful these monies could be, but again, I do think
Can we bring that to warrant?
the RMS system, I don't know how you could.
If it fails, yeah.
If it fails, yeah, it fails, and I don't know when they're gonna pull the plug, and the other challenge with that is the systems around it are all getting older, and they're not supported, you know, that's the other challenge, and I can't move up, so we have to make a decision. But when we look at the priorities, this is definitely a clear priority. It's just a reoccurring cost is the challenge, and I will be out there selling it, because I think it's a need. You know, we have to get the message out, we have to be transparent, and these are the types of tools we need to do it. And, you know, these things will outlast Kim or I or anybody else in this town that are in this position. These are things that we can grow our presence on. So,
You can have the cost, you're increasing your productivity. It's not just for the citizens, but you're gonna use it internally, right? Like, there's a workflow component that's going back and
there's no,
forth.
there's,
Is there
See,
workflow in it?
click, fix.
just see, click, fix
Okay,
it.
so it
Yeah,
goes, so
it's a
you,
work.
perfect, so that's, I mean, if we're trying to sell it, right, you're saving time, and the data's centralized. I'm just trying to get points.
Because the only safety net we have right now is the Technology Communication Expendable Trust Fund.
This
Coming
is,
from,
this,
not from this, if a system fails, or you need something that's,
yeah, this wouldn't be covered by it.
no, this wouldn't, but I was just, can the system next door be covered under that?
No.
Okay. That's just
It was
more of
predominantly capital for the most part.
capital.
Yeah.
So that's if a server goes, something goes with the telecommunications.
And I don't, and it's, in the debt butt fund is $50,000. We chose not to refund it this year, so it's probably down to 42. The cost of that is like 60 grand just to
Yeah.
start, so. And then the reoccurring.
I'm just trying to think of different safety.
So-
Yeah,
The only thing I'm gonna say is that, you know, I attended, a session a few weeks ago of municipal managers, and we were put on notice by the state of New Hampshire, your website must be ADA compliant, must be.
It-
So,
okay.
and with right to know law as strict as it is today, we need to be really careful that we are complying 100%. This isn't gonna get cheaper. This is just gonna get more expensive.
Yeah.
And we're just pushing a really big rock down the road.
Computers are expensive, Perry.
So now,
They're taking over the people.
currently, first of all, I want to thank John for doing what he's done over all these years and maintaining it and bringing it up to the point, and also acknowledging that it is kind of reached its end of life. But it
For a
it
homegrown
cannot,
system, it's worked us well for a long time.
yes, for a cheap system to implement. But with that system now, the amount of time and energy to make it ADA compliant, can it even be ADA compliant?
So it could be, but it would probably cost that much professional services to help us do it. Right, because I don't think, we've lived on low-cost templates, right? And we don't have a designer. That's, I mean, the biggest thing about the Civic Plus model, or any of the ones we've looked at, they come in and give us direction how to get it done, right? They get it, they help us rebrand the whole town. And to Kim's point, that's why we want all that involvement. The rebranding is really a costly thing, and that's really what it is. Once the template's done, it's gonna run itself for the most part, because the departments are gonna take care of their own content. Right, so, yeah, could we do it? Sure. But I suspect the cost would be the same, and then would they be the same reoccurring? Probably not, but at the end of the day, we still gotta keep it fresh, right?
Yep.
So, again, looking at all, as Kim said, if you look at any town, Civic Plus is running it, there's maybe Revise is the other one that I see a lot around, but I've been on this platform a couple of times in the past years. It's a good, robust environment. And I think, again, to try to accomplish everything we want to do, and with all the goals that we have, this will be one we can build off of. And, as we talk about the notification stuff, there's other costs that will come out of the budget to kind of make up the difference in the run rate, but it's going to take us some time implementation before we can get that stuff out of there.
So the initial cost of setting it up is there.
Yes.
Once it's in there, it should bring things down.
Not enough.
No, it's
No,
20,
it's
it's 20, it's
22.
23,000 a year plus a 5%
Plus
increase
5%
every year.
year
Every
three,
year,
so-
5%. And that's
So
probably
initial-
for 5 years, and who knows where we'll go after that.
And my heartburn's not getting initially
Okay.
funded.
That was
It's
the
that
initial.
recurring cost every year. How
Gonna
do we
get it
get
for
that
29.
into the budget?
Okay.
And as much as it would fall,
but there's also
it would expect to
5%.
fall into the IT budget. That's another, probably a discussion for
Three
us,
years,
but
that's
if
what
it's
you're
fall
covering.
there, we'll
Okay.
defend it to the death, but when,
Missed that step
when
on
the
that
Connor desk asks, well, can you cut $300 out of to get rid of the rec commission website that they were maintaining on their own, I didn't have to worry about it. That's $300. I can't imagine what they're gonna do for $24,000.
Hate to buy a fire truck for that less.
Is IT,
It's a
See, I
recurring cost, there's
think-
not much you can do
Why
about it.
does
I think it's a, like your NRPC, and, what's the name of the budget?
BMSI?
No, the name of the account where we charge the,
The BMSI software?
Yeah.
NRPC circuit rider.
Oh,
Agency,
Yeah, what is it?
yeah.
Business?
It's irrelevant where it
It's
goes
not
in the
the cloud,
budget,
like
Yeah,
SAC?
it's just
I
in the
think-
budget, no matter where it goes, it's in
because
the
even
budget.
those
But what
dollars
you
that go in the
need to
budget.
see- But what people need to see is, this isn't, it's not one thing. This is the
Right.
whole town.
That's what I'm saying, why does it fall under IT, which I know it is technically IT, but it's almost like a person. You have to pay for that person
Because
to do
going
the
forward,
job.
I will be the technical contact, so
No,
be
no,
the
no,
maintaining of
I
it.
just
So
mean
why
in
wouldn't I
general.
control that budget?
It's a general question of, it's real, like you said, it's for the whole town. It's not
It's
just
an
to support
encompassing
IT.
of all the
It's almost like,
departments.
why isn't it like?
But I
It's like how it is now, though.
But right, most of the town budget from a technology perspective has been pulled into IT, so I would assume we would follow the same guidelines there. Discussion for another time, I suppose.
So I
Does it
think one
have
of
to
the
fall under IT?
important
Not that you
things,
wouldn't manage it, but does it have to fall under that kind of a budgeting of that it's under IT?
so
What
a
does it
lot
matter?
of it is not, you need to think of this as, this is your website over here, right?
You're at the department.
So they're maintaining it, you have 24/7 content, you have access to their support 24/7. So I'm a department head, I don't understand how I need to load this document, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I'm calling
yeah.
them.
But like sometimes in companies, if finance uses part of the machine and manufacturing uses part of the machine, they pay for that. It's a tool for their job.
Correct.
They should be funding it. I know it's falling under IT at the moment here.
Well, it's town
But I
tax,
think
it's a
it's-
tax.
I mean,
base.
the money's all still okay, but I'm trying to
Right.
think, we distribute the money differently. Still
Well,
managed by,
It's still managed, but even if you fund from, say, 4 departments, each one
But
takes a
whoever
quarter of
uses
it,
it.
right? And they're funding back into IT.
Right.
It's still, we're still managing the same monies from a bottom line budget.
but maybe the other ones
Is
have
what it
more
comes
money
to.
is my point to
Well,
play with.
I just think that
Tool they're using.
it's a tool for the town, so it's every department that owns a piece of this and is maintaining a piece of it, and so I'm just wondering if you put it under like the NRPC, where the agency fees, that's really what it is. It's an agency fee for us all to be able to communicate with our residents. It's not going to require as much IT actual services as the website today, right? We want
It's
to post
third party.
something, we have to email John.
Is this a third-party tool?
It's a.
It's a
it
third
is
party.
Third party.
It's a third party,
tool.
hosted service.
Does it make anything that go away that you had that we could save money? I don't know. I'm just trying to save.
Well, we
have
would,
money.
we,
I'm just
there are
I'm just
some,
trying to
there
ask
would
if
be
something
some.
gets sunsetted, we're not paying for
You
it
did,
anymore.
you did the right thing. You said the right question.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just
no,
trying-
there, I mean, there, Kim and I talked about it. I mean, the forms engine that we use today would potentially can go away or at least downsized. The code red would eventually go away and be rolled into this also. So there's that cost. So that takes the year-over-year cost, probably cuts it in half. It's still a $15,000 addition to the budget,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
So-
we can't pull enough to offset.
No, I don't think we can. And again, as I said to Kim when we were having this conversation, I got beat up over $14,000 or something I've saved for 5 years and came back in 5 years, and that became a cut topic. I needed a $3,700 laptop, and I took it off the budget because I couldn't afford it because I had to put $14,000 in. So when I'm scraping for little things, this makes it a little harder. But again, I'm 100% in agreement that we need to do it. And somehow we need to convince the budget committee to support it, right? And it can't be, well, okay, if you want $25,000 every year, you need to take $25,000 out of the budget. It can't work that way.
Town falls apart without it.
School
That's the
department.
good-
Well, we don't, it's not that the town today won't fall apart, but we can't move forward,
I agree.
right?
So we have to do
Would the
it.
school be involved with this as well? No, just the town.
Well, then we won't be compliant either. will we?
School has their
Yeah,
own,
That's a big
their
check
own
to
computer
write when
stuff,
you're not
Bobby.
compliant.
Yeah, I know that, but.
okay, and it's costly, okay, because every
Right.
child, every
Either
kid,
way, you
everything,
have to
Either
every
way, we
day.
have to get
You
compliant.
have to
So,
do
I mean,
something, yes, you have to.
One way or
get
another, we're gonna
compliant.
get hit with a cost.
At some point in
Yes.
time, yeah. Yeah, whether it's a one-time large cost and a small recurring or not. But I think, again, if we're looking for the platform to take us forward, this would be the right idea to go. I mean, I walked into Kim's office, and we've had disagreements about how we want to do this, but I walked in her office and said, if we're going to do this, this is the platform, we need to go sell it, because it's the right platform. It has every, I'll use the word bell and whistle, that we could use in our tool arsenal to get the messaging out and get people engaged. Other tools were limited, lesser cost, but they didn't have the functionalities, and they didn't have the CMS that this has. This is definitely a lot easier platform to deal with. And it has our ability to integrate what we have today too, in some cases too, where we don't have to lose all of our investments we've had.
I will say this, where I am employed now, The computer is their thing. No one talks to each other anymore. Okay, and I'm a little pissed off about that because I'm a face-to-face person,
Kevin's a talker.
okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, and I try to find a solution. You get more done in face-to-face communication and typing. Well, that's what I've learned. Okay, and I see that it's happening every day. And even with the permit systems, it's all done by phone. If the plans come in a certain size, I like paper, okay, because you can write out, you can do everything, it's, you know, plan of a house, whatever you gotta do. Today, it's all electronic. And it costs the town to print that out, so you can put it in the file of record or something like that, you get an electronic file, but you gotta correct it, and it's hard to correct it. To me, it's hard to correct it on a computer, because you gotta use a little red circle and point to it, duh, whatever that means, okay?
So one
But
thing
the
I
whole
do,
world's coming to that.
one thing I do like, and it's something that we discussed during the communication policy, was, you know, content being stagnant, you know, needs to be dynamic, and this does address it. I was just looking at the Salem, New Hampshire website, and I really do like it. It looks very intuitive. It's easy to get around.
If you-
I think it'd be-
They have a great team over there.
If you look at all their sites, any one they've done, they're very similar in flow.
Yeah.
Everything's about design and making it, like, I think Kim said, you know, what Litchfield's about, or what our culture or style is, right? That's what you'll see different.
And they've done it in a very calculated way, right? So their whole development of their town is being done in a very calculated way, with a lot of residents' feedback. I mean, Tuscan Village didn't just come up. It was very calculated as to what would go where and what they needed, and, you know, the communications that the town manager and the assistant town manager are putting out are exceptional. And so they've really made it, and I think that's what we need to do, is we really were kind of in that vulnerable place, right? You've started the Economic Development Committee, you're trying to get residents' feedback on what they want for Litchfield in the future. This is the time you need that communication tool to assist you.
You had a survey in here already.
So that's a
Survey?
survey that I used in my past community, I will say that. It's our project team developed, so it was real easy for me to go take it, I had it in my toolbox. It can certainly be changed up. But I do think that starting with a survey is important, because you want to get some feedback from your residents on what they think has worked and what hasn't worked, or like that gentleman that called me about the exemptions. I mean, 6 months ago, there wasn't an assessing page on the website. John put that up, and they've been adding some tools
Never asked for.
to it, but I think there's a lot of those, like, our general assistance page just got up. I'm able to point people to that now.
Some more databases at this point, files. People are using this to search. gather
Search
data.
records and
Uh,
find.
The
And do
search
activities to put
function on
permits,
our
whatever.
website is an issue.
Yeah,
It's-
websites
you
now are
can't
sitting on
search it.
databases now, it's crazy.
Yeah, the way we used to I mean, go back in history, everything was a photocopy of a file, right? And so
Yes, scanned it.
photocopies can't be scanned correctly where they'd be optical looked at, now the new ones do, but the ones we have, a lot of old content don't do it that way.
Back in
It's
my
one of the reasons why we went to the neutral, or the way we do the minutes now, where they're actually live a document, because those are searchable. But, yeah, I agree. This, to Kim's point, there's a lot of things that weren't there when she got here. We put them up there because she felt they were in need. Previous town administrators, previous leaderships did not ask for this stuff, and I think people have heard me cry that I've asked for content, I can't create content, I'm not a writer, right? So content didn't come, department heads didn't submit content. Every department head has had an option to submit content, and they've yet to submit content. So, at this point, I think this is the way we enable the department heads, and they can no longer be sitting there saying, well, my stuff's not out there, they can do it themselves.
They own it. Let
They own it.
them be responsible.
Yep.
For good or whatever.
Yeah, and the system has checks and balances too, right? To Kim's point, they put it up there, it follows the format, but we can put it into an exception where it says, yep, that can go up, and that, broadcast all the community would have to be proofed and approved based on the communications policy, right, before it gets sent out there. So that can all be put into the system too, so. Like I said, it's got a lot of options.
It's the paper, the pen works too.
So we gotta pay people to
Your
do it.
agenda, your minutes, that's all, town calendar, I mean, I think that is, one of the things that I think you're limited by is our town calendar. This will have a wonderful opportunity for the town calendar where we can really emphasize, not only you can toggle between town events, right, and community events. So you can actually have different calendars all integrated into one, and then you start to convince your different, community groups, hey, submit it to us so that we can put it on the town calendar. And so now you have different agencies and different groups that you're getting, whether it's Rotary or whether it's the Lions Club or whether it's, and you start to create a place where your residents know that they can go and get solid information. Like when Kim started asking for the NRPC events and things to be on the town calendar.
This will take some of the workload off you as well, right? Not greatly, because now the page is up and running, but when you first built it, it was,
Yeah,
put a lot of time and energy into
a
it.
lot of the things that go on regularly other than content posts are automatic, but yeah, it would.
How does this look on a phone?
It's very mobile adaptable.
It's a mobile.
Yes.
Yep.
So people don't need to log on and.
No.
All right. I knew it had mobile accessibility. I didn't know how much of it. It's almost one-to-one. What I see on the
Basically,
screen
It
is
won't
what I
be
see on the
one-to-one,
phone.
it's gonna, if you, depending how you do it, if you go to Salem, New Hampshire's, they have all those icons down there, they will stack them, just like ours does. So very similar, but it has a different navigation engine, so it's kinda nicer in that respects. So yeah, it's fully mobile compatible.
Good. I like that.
And once you log in and you create an account,
Mm.
I mean, I still, only because I can't remember my password to go shut it off. But I still get emails. Oh, City of
Hopefully.
Nashua Finance meeting tonight. Well, I don't really,
Right.
not that I don't
What
care,
meeting
but.
today?
I don't care.
I'm searching John's calendar. What date? When
And that's
are my
important,
meetings?
that's also important
And
too,
you get
'cause
those right to your email.
what's important too is that, there's two types of logins. There's the employee login that allows them to do content, and then there's a residence or participant login that gives them that kind of customability. And all that's integrated with our existing, authentication mechanisms we have in town. So it's not gonna be a 13-number password, that kind of thing. So, again, a lot of benefits. The price tag is, what you guys get paid the big bucks to decide on, but, and Bob, I will go to the budget meeting and preach to why we should do it. It's just, like I said, the heartache that I had when Kim and I first started talking about was the price. And knowing, having been doing this for a long time, and, I started this whole exercise in 2008 and been through a bunch of hurdles, and they've never it hasn't been a thing that it's been a priority, right? So, and I think the time has come that it needs to be a priority.
Okay. So in
I'm
other
glad you
words, we're
said
gonna
you go to the
sell.
budget committee, because if they start asking me IT questions.
No, I'm happy,
Well,
I'm happy to go,
I'd
I'm
like
sure.
to speak to it as well.
Yeah, I'd like you
This
both
is
there.
something that's been, I do want you to know that you can speak to, whether it's Mr. Brown, Mr. Mellon, Ms. Briand, I mean, the police department, the fire department. We've had multiple discussions on this, and everyone has assured that they are on board.
So they all agree too.
This really is a project that the team would work
Needs.
on together.
Yep.
they all need to communicate.
So what do we
Our
want
residents.
this year that we can put it in the budget? That we don't want this year, we
We
don't
have to
need.
figure out how to fund it.
That's right.
Yes,
What's the-
because the,
Timetable.
29,000.
We
When
have
is this
until, we
set?
have until the end of November.
To when?
to make a
November?
decision.
If, the end of this month?
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, for at least the initial cost, yeah.
And
Now, I'm in
so-
sales, and we could always go back and say, we're gonna push you a little bit and keep the price, but, you know,
I don't think so.
you know, what if you took, just spitballing it, Kim, what if we took the 2 years of money that we would need and allocated out of the bottom line? That gives us 2 years to figure out another way to pay for it. It does kick it down the road, but it gives you 2 years of a safety net. Because it's gonna take us a year to get it all it'll go live within 6 months, I'm sure, if not sooner. But as we start to migrate other
do we
content, stuff
find-
like that.
How do we find $52,000?
We can move on to the next subject.
Okay. If we find
So
$52,000, we take 2 years to pay.
The money.
Yep, it goes down it goes down it, but at least gives us a chance to start getting creative. What other things from the line can get sucked out of it? You know, what other things can we do?
I could go back to Civic Plus and see if we paid the second year up front.
Do we get a discount?
Can we get a discount on? I'd be happy.
Correct.
I mean,
It'll give us 5% or something, right?
I've pushed and pushed and pushed.
Because the benefit for them is that recurring costs every single year.
And a 5% increase every year.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the real benefit for them. It's not designing, it's maintaining it and moving down.
You know, I know the budget committee has asked and asked and asked about the PD.
Mm-hmm.
And the savings in wages and health. But we estimate it's gonna be double that in unspent funds in PD health.
And
It's
just the
not
PD.
a question, I mean, we could certainly do the 2 years.
Could I ask for $267,000 out of PD budget to pay for their RMS system for the next 5 years? $500,000 out of their budget, right? So it would be police funding to police funding, right? And that takes that cost away for 5 years.
I mean, I did speak to Mr. Brown. They did not hire seasonal workers this summer. Number one was just things that they were working on. They couldn't oversee them as they were working on, especially some of this stuff with the stormwater.
Then it rained every day.
And yeah, that didn't
About
help.
stormwater.
And then they had the catch basin. So, I mean, we estimate there's, 21 there. I mean, both Karen and I looked at this and, we estimate there's between 452 and 527,000. I don't think it's a question of we couldn't afford to do it. It's a question of, do we want to make the investment? And I know it's been on everyone's mind, what are we gonna have to let lapse to fund balance? Because at 8.7%,
Yeah.
it's,
Usually low.
I will say that I was concerned about the fact that they may go to warrant article for the new school.
I don't think they would do that this year, unless they found another piece of land.
If they did, the requirement for our fund balance would increase. And I think that's a different conversation, but at least with the way that bond council works, and we've investigated this somewhat and had a conversation with bond council. They would have the money from bond council and they could make the initial payments, at least until the town had collected enough to begin making the payments, to them. So, and they know this, so we've met, so that's not as large of a concern as I once had.
Okay. Where are we gonna find it? Budget committee, Bob? Would like to, you are good at them?
Well, if we find a way to fund it for 2 years, it's not a budget committee discussion
Right now, no.
in the immediate future.
2 years it would be.
Correct. But I
But
think
would
it's-
they, once it's up and it's running and we've made the initial investments, would
it
they
makes the
cut it?
argument a whole lot easier.
Right.
And why you go and do it, right? So it's not a question we have to have now. By the time this thing gets up and running, they see exactly what it is, then you start those conversations of what can we do in the funding of the budget in order to pay for it.
Especially if we grow the audience and we see the engagement.
Yeah.
If it stays the way it is right now and there's no engagement.
Makes it harder to
It makes
sell.
it harder, yeah.
You need engagement.
And the page does have analytics that we'll be able to prove to them.
Just gonna show the value.
Yeah,
So it gives us time,
does give us
Transparency,
time.
yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Without
and it's
trans-
needed.
Transparency, analytics, like you said.
And engaging the community right off the bat.
Yeah, you're taking
And
away their
that's
sippy cup.
important.
Well, let's start doing that.
I mean, it's a smart investment, and if the board is willing to do a 2-year investment, that at least takes it off and allows the leadership team in town and the committees to get this up and running and moving. And as you said, it shows the value, because that makes it an easier conversation.
It does, especially when this town starts seeing the service of it, the benefit of that service.
And by then, we may be able to, because you wouldn't want to stop Code Red right away, but maybe by then, we have enough
Data.
interest in the website where we can look at using the notification system through the website and find other areas.
And then we show different mechanisms to offset that cost, so now it's
Well, I think
hypothetically $14,000-15,000.
I think the challenge with Code Red is we don't have enough subscribers in there anyway, still. And I think even the data and the results, but I think if we can either yank out or just go through off and get people to re-register, if we get enough bodies in there correctly, we can shift off the other one.
And just have an endeavor at election day, sign people up as they
Right.
come through.
Right, we could have a little terminal, then they come up and actually fill it out with a
Yeah.
little kiosk to do it. It makes the platform makes a lot of those things a lot easier to do.
Especially if during a presidential election, we'll get more people.
Yeah.
Be the time to do it, at least we'll get our subscribership up on it.
Yeah, have a board, have someone sitting there, hey, come on up and sign up and just check and be done. Or even a QR code they can scan and just go right on their phone and
Yep.
do it right then and there.
A lot of ways we could do it and just get more people registered for notifications.
I think one of the telltale signs for me was when PD came to me and said that they actually had an applicant decide not to be interviewed because they looked at our website.
It's great information, thanks.
I don't know, I think we go back and talk to Civic Plus and see what we can do if we do 2 years up front.
Okay.
Let's try that.
That's what I would think.
I agree with that.
I'll support it.
Well done.
Thank you for everybody's efforts to this point.
Yeah.
So, Kim, we gonna get a motion for the funding for 2 years now, assuming that they'll agree to it? Or we have to come back again and,
Well, we
really
don't
time,
have an
right?
amount.
We don't have a total.
So
amount.
You
that
can do a not to exceed,
you could.
yeah, I mean, I would assume it would be.
not to exceed the 53 or whatever the math comes up to
Yeah.
on that 52.
Yeah, I mean, I would think it's just the math, right?
Yeah.
We're still, it's enough of an investment that, I think I would want the board's signature on it unless you wanted to authorize.
Could authorize the town administrator to sign it.
Yeah.
Do that.
How do we write this off on taxes? Write it off for the year we use it? It doesn't depreciate. It's a third party,
It doesn't,
so we don't have to worry about assets and depreciation, right?
It's a
I just want to
subscription
make
based.
sure of cash flow, if we're writing it off for
Good
taxes.
question.
All right, I'll make a motion that we allow the town administrator to engage in a contract with Civic Plus for a 2-year deal, not to be more than $52,000.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber,
I'll second it.
a second from Mr. Gannon.
He seconded it, but that's.
He did?
I burped.
I thought he did. I didn't hear you.
He went, yeah,
Steve
he
did.
said, yep.
That's what I said.
I just burped. Sorry.
It's perfect, Chris.
One of those
All those in
days.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. Cool. And
give me a
keep us posted what's going on with this, and you guys will have your hands full.
Then we are right to the
Yeah, I gotta.
Anticipated year-end funds?
which is what you had asked us to look at. Most of the animal control, because so most of that is all safe. I did talk to Mr. French yesterday, and there's some other lines within his budget, ammunition, equipment. There may be some small dollars that aren't included in here because I hadn't heard back from him, so I didn't want to include him. But I think, Karen, you felt pretty solid with the.
Yeah, I mean, we have some things that are exceeding the lines as well, but I did, for these ones, at least wages and health, because health and dental were pretty much done. Well, we have one more payment for December, and,
And you have those figured in here, right?
yeah.
Wouldn't want to strip all of their surplus. I'd like to leave maybe a 20% cushion in each of them. Only if something unexpected came up.
Yeah,
We
so
don't
we're still
run
looking at
deficit.
$400,000.
Yeah,
And I think that would be safe.
yeah, you'd be fine with that, Bob.
And so we applied for the Granite State Clean Fleets for 2 trucks. Hopefully we should hear back this week, but there is a 20% match on that, which could come out of the Public Works. But if you wanted to keep that whole and save that money, we could look at taking that, be roughly about $28,000. If we got both.
Got it. So our portion would be 28,000.
Right. If we got both.
So we could leave
trucks,
28
could
there to
get
cover them
one.
just in case.
I mean, I think the hard part is going to be, you may not have the capacity within the existing fund balance to fund a lot of warrant articles from.
Yep.
General assistance, that's an area that has increased. And so that is an area where most towns are feeling it. And definitely, I think we've got 25,000 that we put in there, 20?
20,
20.
yeah, 10 at first and 10 this year.
And we've
But
spent
we've spent,
15.
yeah, almost
Yeah.
13,000, the last I looked. I don't remember if that last payment was included or not.
So,
And then we have, the assessing one, but
that you always do
Yeah.
from.
Yes.
So,
So what do we think that total would be?
That's for
Yeah.
Stephen.
Assessing would be 25.
25, because we're breaking that up so we don't pay.
Steve, get
Yeah.
those right there
Yeah.
too, Bob?
Yeah.
What?
So then,
Steve, get those
I
group
think
right there.
2024,
That would go to Steve too.
the 2024 would be the last or 2025, but I think you'd want to just continue that.
think you
'cause
wanna
it's
keep
always
doing
gonna
that,
be
yeah,
the
so we
fifth
never-
year. Yeah. So it's level funded.
Next.
Yeah.
So leave about 411,000. We took 20% left there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
and we'll watch it and
Yeah.
kind of update you each
Mm-hmm.
meeting
So for that.
through the end of the year.
But we do have to build the unassigned fund balance.
Mhm.
Yes.
Put a good chunk of that in there. Think about what you guys just presented here, and maybe a police cruiser and some other things that are needed, but we can't fit them in the budget. I think it's a responsible way to spend it.
And I think you'll see that
This year
when
we saved mileage
CIP
on the
comes.
vehicles, so we're saving the car.
Get the popcorn,
That's gonna make the 52,000 look really small.
horror show.
Pros and cons with the employment over there. The cars are not out as much. Well, there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah. And they also haven't had bought one in 3 years, so.
Right, so they're gonna be better off still.
So we go from a good conversation kind of not into a not so good.
Why?
Time payouts?
Yeah, when you have had officers, and most of these are officers, but, leave, there's been the payout of earned time. And so Karen put this together, as far as what's been paid to date, what we expect, due to, some terminations in November, and then she estimated the earned time, buyout. That's something I think that the board needs to decide, because the policy says the board may pay out. Policy does not tie the hands of the board. So if it is the board's desire to offer the buyout of their earned time, I'd ask Karen how Karen kind of put these numbers together, so.
It's kind of a sore subject. I know Mr. Weber and I are big proponents of paid time off.
You better believe it, PTO.
Use it or lose it, and this is why.
It's a huge liability.
It is a great big liability.
Well, I'm happy to help you out in that area. I will have used all mine.
Thank you.
So the system works.
But as you can see, that, with Karen's estimate, which she's been doing this for a long time, that's 75 and you only have 59
In that fund.
in that fund.
Yep.
We need to fund the fund.
Well, this way, you can save taxes, we can refund it.
You just talked about funding something that the town absolutely needs, and you mentioned the elephant in the room. This is the elephant.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
We need to address this too, I think, at some point.
Water over the
If
dam
it makes you
right now.
feel better, it's everywhere.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
every
understand that.
municipality, this is the great unfunded liability.
Yep.
But if everybody, does the board want to buy back earned time? Because they have from November 15th to November 30th to bring Karen their requests.
Can we buy it back 50 cents on the dollar?
That's not in our policy, but I'm sure it's always budget constraints too, but I don't think you may be.
Yeah.
I was partially joking, but it's,
No, I know, but you always
That was a
could.
great idea.
that's why I was partially joking.
That's a tough one.
Because they've earned the time, but I mean, bankrolling time is also not a good thing.
Just hate it.
But right next door, it's tough because they've had to do it.
And we did, so the board did decide last January, right?
We did,
that
yep.
you would, offer them that, and I think that they appreciated it. But you're right, they couldn't use it,
You
so
can't, I
is
mean,
that
especially
fair?
next door, I mean,
No one can buy it back.
we eventually get fully staffed, they're gonna wanna use it.
30-day notice, right?
Just get a break, cause I mean, they're burning out over there.
Yep.
But there's nothing,
I need some time.
the people who earn this time
So
are
you
not
have a
here.
lot of other departments, we're all small.
Yeah.
When somebody's out, you can't be out, when,
Mhm.
you know,
Makes
so
it
you're always
difficult.
fighting for your time.
It is very difficult. I think we saw it this summer. I mean, you know, Karen and I aren't out at the same time, Heather and Karen aren't out at the same time. It's only so many
lot of
days in a
jockeying.
month.
Notice of anticipated revenue, that's a new one.
So
Good news.
do we wanna make a motion that you'll accept the employees' buyout requests?
I think we have to,
Yeah, I know.
really
It's
do.
not pleasant, but we have to.
have to.
I agree.
Just educate me, does it roll over if they don't take it, or they have to take it?
So,
We have a max, and you can't roll over any more than you max at any time during the year. So at that point, you could be forcing people to have nobody in the department. You know, it's hard.
And with being understaffed, some people are forced to take it, now you're paying overtime to somebody else.
Yep.
You know,
So
yeah.
You're getting kinda hit twice.
So the best thing is to give them their money so that they keep working.
Really is. When you're in lean times, I mean, from a employee standpoint,
They have to work for the coverage, they're earning it.
you
Yeah.
need it, yeah.
And time and a half, and, oh, no mind,
Well, we'll entertain a motion.
make it.
So I'll make a motion that we offer to pay back earned time, well, buy back earned time.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber,
I'll second that.
second from Ms. Queen. Any further discussion? Steve, you haven't said a thing.
It's a no-win situation.
It's not for me.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500.
Bob voted yes, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Broke his heart.
All right, notice of unanticipated revenues.
see how we're doing this? Good news, bad news, good news, bad news. See?
Let's hear the whole of it first.
So just like, this current year, you got a one-time highway payment and a one-time bridge payment. So in the budget state budget that they passed in June, they've done it again. It's not as high as what you received this year.
We'll
So.
take any revenues we can get.
Right, and of course, the bridge payment, we used that for the catch basin that went, so,
Pilgrim?
yes.
Yep.
And, you know, the highway block grant can only be used for,
Roads.
roads.
Yep.
But we got this information from NHMA, who got it from the state, and they're saying to estimate for the bridge payment 27% of what you received this year, so that would be about 35,000. And then 33% of the highway block grant, so, about 57. We're hoping that this comes in, sometime late in November, early December. So,
It's $92,000.
That can be used.
we're taking it away and we're giving it back. And,
I'm sure Mr.
So-
Brown already has his shopping list.
I actually haven't told him yet. So I'm sorry, Kevin, if you're watching this.
But you're not
meeting.
watching it.
I meant to tell him and I just
Kidding
got
me?
doing other
Jumping for
things.
joy right now.
Yep.
A lot of good reasons though up there. needed.
So, okay. In process, update on Community Power Initiative draft plan and public hearings.
Oh, what,
10 words or
Selectman
less, can we
Queen
do
it.
it?
Let me go find Energy Commission here. So we met last week with legal, and we're looking at the community power draft plan, and we're still making some revisions. However, that doesn't stop us. We're still going to have the first public hearing, because it's really an educational hearing, so we can have that first without the draft being ready. That will be set for Tuesday, November 28th. Is it here? I'm not sure where the location is. Is it at the town hall?
no, it is at the.
Fire station? Is it at the fire station? Okay. So anybody interested in the community power update for the Energy Commission, it's really an educational opportunity to come in and ask questions from that group. So Tuesday, November 28th, over at the fire department. I don't have the time. Do we have the time on that? Is it usually 7?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. The draft, once ready, we anticipate having a second public hearing December 4th. So we need to have that done before we probably come back to the board. There is not a next meeting I can find on the calendar. I don't think we scheduled it yet, so I just put down to be determined. All right. Now, we have a SIP meeting that day, December 4th, but we might try to change that, right? So we can have the second hearing, because why are we doing this so rush? We need it to get to warrant article, so we need a go, no-go decision. We are waiting for the survey results also, that were on the webpage, and you had a hard copy at the town hall, right? So hopefully those survey results should be ready by the first public hearing
I
on
used
November
the hard
20th.
copy.
All right. So that's what I have.
Skills.
Did you want to add anything to that?
I think you covered it.
All right.
Okay, Bob, next.
So that's it? Okay. You good?
Yeah, I'm good for energy. Just getting the other ones ready.
All right. Up next, 2024 budget.
So, not a lot has changed, now that I think it's nice now that they're on the school budget. Although, we've been watching those sessions. We do go back this Thursday night. Mr. Mellon,
Yep.
and they had some questions on the revolving fund, for the fund for, Karen, help me out.
Yeah, his revolving.
Recycling.
Recycling revolving fund.
The second R word. And so we looked up the warrant article, and the warrant article was pretty specific for the recycling, and it did actually say it's not to be used to supplant the general operating budget.
Okay.
So, we've created a one-pager, to give the budget committee. I wasn't sure, Chair, if you'd like that sent over to,
Chairman Sun,
yes.
please.
They asked some specifics, I'll send it to the board as well so that you can see. They've asked for some specifics on the way the fund has accumulated revenue during the year and what it has been spent on for 2022 and 2023. So we put together that information, and then Mr. Mellon's gonna speak to projects and costs that he sees that the fund should be used on for 2024. But I think it is important that we don't use that fund, and I think that may have been some of the committee's questions, is can we use that fund to offset and lower the budget? And I think it's pretty clear
You can't do that.
that you can't do that. So, I think right now, we're still, under the cap, we did not go back and finalize health information yet because we don't know, right? We're still in open enrollment, and Karen will be getting that information between now and December 8th.
Yeah.
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 And so then we'll know more, right? Once we know what plans people have chosen, and but until then, that's very hard for us. Until we have a finalized sidebar and union agreement, which, my apologies, we expected to have this evening, but because of the department and people being out and things, we haven't been able to put that together, but we will have it for you on the 27th, which will then give the budget committee more answers on healthcare costs as well. Yeah,
No, I don't think so.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Up next, Town Administrator Report.
10 words or less.
Last week, Health Trust came just to talk about the new plans with employees. I already said union contract will be the 27th. Wednesday and Thursday of this week, I'm at the NHMA annual conference. I've been asked to speak this year, which meant I got the conference for nothing.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So I'm delivering a session on competitive and equitable compensation. My vacation, and this is my husband's fault, not mine, has changed. Apparently he and I don't have great communication. And I said it was the 9th through the 16th, and he told me the other night, nope, it's the 2nd through the 9th. So I will be here for a presentation of warrant articles on December 14th. Yay. The stormwater team, Kevin and CEI, we had the level service workshop at the fire station. It was a great success. New Hampshire DES came down and they thought it was one of the better ones done that they've seen. In fact, they have offered us their financial analyst to put together a capital cost analysis on stormwater costs for the town.
Excellent.
So we have their new financial analyst at our disposal to put together a plan for the town, which is huge.
It is.
And so our first meeting with her is this Friday. And this was an item that the CIP committee had actually wanted, so it couldn't have come at a better time. Pennachuck, the Hillcrest Water Expansion project, the board had asked to see a copy of the letter that the residents are receiving. The letter is actually being mailed out today. And so I put a copy of that letter on your portal so that you may read it. It really speaks to, what services, if they want to sign up for, do they want to keep their existing well for irrigation purposes, the fact that there's no cost to them, how the process works. And then on another Pennachuck note, we got a letter from Pennachuck on their intent to file a rate case. And so they talk about the fact that they will be filing a new rate case, asking for consolidation of Pennachuck Waterworks, Pennachuck East, and Pittsfield.
Okay.
I think until we actually see that case, they're supposed to file it by the 15th, Wednesday. And until we actually see what that is, we won't know what the impact is to our residents. But,
It won't be good.
yeah, in October, they filed an increase based on the capital projects, so the QPAC, they call it, and that looks like it's $1.20 alone, so, yeah. So, we'll keep our eyes on it as well as our consultants are keeping an eye on it. The Veterans Pavilion's coming along beautiful. They got the asphalt in, and Mr. Jacques was here today to tell me that the stonework, the granite will be going in on Wednesday. It may cause some disruption to people coming onto Liberty Way from Albuquerque. They may be better off coming onto Liberty Way through Hillcrest. And we'll cone it off as needed, but there's big cranes involved, and they estimate they'll get it done in one day. And then the pavilion will come early to mid-December. And the veterans are on them to try to get that in as soon as possible.
It's not gonna snow to the end of December anyhow. I'm an optimist.
We also put on there, so Karen received the letter from Avatar, just letting residents know of the annual data verification process. So a group of residents are chosen each of the 5 years. They have the right to email the town, or provide to us in writing that they will not participate and will not let people in. Of course, if you are having work done on your homes, that you'll see them more than once in the 5 years, but, and then I just wanted to remind you that we have a 5:30 start on, the 27th.
Took me a minute on
Well, I
that.
may not be here for that. I'll be on a plane
On
coming
the
back,
27th?
coming back. Yep.
All right, up next, Selectmen reports. Recreation Commission, Mr. Weber.
We have not had a meeting in over 3 weeks due to the calendar. It's one of those with a nice big break. As you heard, we'll be meeting tomorrow evening to talk about the fireworks at the Christmas at Darrah. Kind of a slow time of year for rec.
Heritage Commission, Mr. Gannon.
Our next meeting is tomorrow night as well.
School Facilities, Conservation.
I met with
Emergency.
Conservation the last time, everything went smooth. And as for the school facilities, I cannot meet at the time that they want it, 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah, it's tough.
okay? And the same with emergency management, they now meet in the afternoon too.
Are they
Okay,
even meeting?
yeah, they are, they're starting to meet now. If I'm around, I will go, but my schedule has been odd.
Planning Board,
They don't
Energy
meet.
Commission, everything Kimberly Queenan.
All right, I tried to put them in the order that made sense. All right, Capital Improvement Commission, Planning Commission. We did finalize the SIP. It goes before the Planning Board Tuesday, November 21st for public hearing. That same night, we will also look at the impact fees and make a vote then. So both of them can head over to the Board of Selectmen, November 27th. I'm not sure you can vote on the impact fees first, we'll have to post it, but, so again, let's just repeat. So the SIP, Planning Board, November 21st, that'll be the public hearing. If it's approved there, it'll go to the Board of Selectmen on Monday, the 27th. Our next meeting for the SIP is scheduled for December 4th, 6:30 PM, although that might be disrupted with the Energy Commission public hearing. Planning Board, we have a site walk plan for Morrill Road
Same way.
Sunday, November 19th, 11 a.m. to about 1 p.m. Public is invited to attend. We have Spooky World and a neighbor conflict also we're going to be working with. I will also email Michael, I'm sure you are too, all of the department heads about getting any zoning ordinances in. We need to get zoning ordinances to you sooner rather than later. We did approve some during the year, but we need to get them over. NRPC, we meet November 15th for the monthly executive committee. I will go to that. We have our quarterly full commissioner meeting Wednesday, December 20th at 30 Temple Street in Nashua. Both of those meetings, we are finalizing our strategy and mission statement for the next 5 to 10 years. So we'll discuss it this month and bring it to the full board of NRPC on December, which is the 20th, which a lot of people don't attend that meeting. But we'll probably go over it anyway. All right, the Energy Commission I already went over. Economic Development Committee, we will be meeting next November 29th, 6:30 p.m. here at the Town Hall. We went over our strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats last time. We are going to begin our survey for the public as well during our next meeting.
Thank you.
Yep.
Budget Committee, they've gone through the town budgets. We're gonna meet again tomorrow night with some more information. Thank you, Ms. Kleiner. So, we're just about finished up. Well, we still have warrants to do, but then we'll start in with the school probably after Thanksgiving.
The front
Voting on their
begins.
budget. That's about it. Does anybody have anything else before we go into non-public?
I just had one question on Kim's status report. What is December 14th warrant article? What is that?
So that's the date they have to be, to the budget
To the
committee,
budget.
To budget, okay. I'm thinking it's usually January. I wanted to make sure. All right.
financial.
So we need those to you from the board, planning board. Quick,
I believe it's only
Or is that a draft?
financial related.
okay, just financial. All right, good.
Anything that has a financial.
Well, maybe the impact fees might be in there. Which they're waiting for.
And I don't know if that includes the energy, because the energy has
No cost with that
no
one.
cost to the town.
No reason to put that on.
See a cost yet, other than legal.
Not raising and appropriating funds.
We need
No.
it all the time we can get.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Kim.
Well, that concludes the public session of this meeting. We have one non-public session. Our, say, 91-A semicolon 3, comma 2, A in parentheses, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, whether disciplining of such employee or the investigation of any charges against him or her, unless the employee affected, one, has a right to a meeting, and two, requests that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
So moved.
A motion from Mr. Weber,
Second?
second by Ms. Queenan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion carries 500. We're now going into non-public at 8:21 PM. Everyone have a wonderful night. We won't talk to you before Turkey Day. Have a great Turkey Day.